And now for number 4. So 1, we've got time, straight line. 2, we've got our space, which would defined as besides our space-time, or time is a space, your physical space, and your mental or head space. The 4th one, we're going to just call this one a variable, which I like to call the iSchool variable, which is the Roman numeral 4. I just kind of found that really cute and funny in my own world. So it's your IV, or number 4. So we've got time, space, 2 space, and now we've got 4 quadrants. Time is going to be X, Y is going to be our space, and space is, we've defined as time, your physical and head space. Now we've got variables. Now I'm going to get better at this because the more I research, I feel like the more familiar I get, and the better I'm going to be at defending a rejustification, repurposing education. Anyway, so in this first quadrant, I call this BMs, meaning they're the business management systems. I've already talked about the NAEP for progress, meaning this is a plus, just, I guess it's basic math, but we're not going to talk about the math stuff directly. But we've got business management systems who are in a forward motion for progress and profits. This quadrant I am calling, number 2 is, let's see, we go negative and then up, so that's positive. This is going to be what I call HI. Now remember, these are variables. Number 4, variables, meaning I'm making all this up. iSchool, totally make-believe. Now that we're in number 3, space-time, I didn't make that up. I didn't make up the math and quadrant. Anywho, so business management systems for profit. HI, I'm going to call this historical interpretations. So they're going to take the history, so past tense, and they're going to interpret it in a way for the benefit of business management systems. I don't know if that makes sense to you yet, but it's like taking math and history and English and saying, we're going to take this and reinterpret it, history, for the benefit of the business management systems. I've got examples, we'll get to that. And then we're going to call this quadrant, let's see, this is the negative. This is where I consider myself as a former student, which I've called this variable IP, which I'm calling intellectual property for right now. Because of my research, that's how business management systems see public education. From their perspective, it's a business. They want to profit from a business. So public schools, which comes from taxpayers' money, is considered property. Does that make sense? It's for the public, but it's considered property. So intellectual property, what you do at school, how you develop your mental brain is considered property because you are in the confines of your physical space of school. Like in high school, your locker is your locker, but it can be searched because it's not considered your physical space on school property. So school property is considered public property, and you are considered, at least from their perspective, intellectual property. What you do is you're kind of owned, as I see it. And then the third one, let's see, we've got positive and then we go negative. I call this quadrant AI, which I'm calling always interrupting. Now, as I see it, always interrupting are things that are occupying your space and time. Let's say you're working on a project and you get interrupted, like a doorbell ringing, let's say. Always interrupting, I feel like goes hand in hand with business management systems, because it's saying like, well, if you ask questions about education, why do I have to learn this stuff, for example? Well, we're going to tell you why you have to learn this stuff. And even if you say, but I'm not using it, well, you just have to do it anyway. It's this kind of command. It's in a positive direction as far as you're going to listen to us over time, but it's negative in the sense that it's usually negative. It's you better learn this or you won't get a high school degree. It's really based out of fear, which is where I consider the negative to come from. So my variables in my little 4-square game here, again, are business management systems that profit, specifically in education, historical interpretation of what you're going to be taught is going to be up to who the business management systems, it's what they are going to deem necessary for their property. Am I making any sense? In other words, what you are learning in school because you are considered property is going to be interpreted historically by this business management system that seeks a profit from their property, which is public schools. And then AI is always interrupting. Like I said, this is when I turn on the radio and I hear stories about education. That's funded by a business management system saying, we will tell you what education is. We will tell you what you need to learn, and we will say that education is bad and we're out to sink education, in essence, so that the property becomes bigger. At least this is kind of what I'm figuring out right now. I hope this is making sense.